YouTube, how is it going? So, I was thinking about a good idea for today's video, and I know there were a handful of head coaching vacancies that did arise. Not as many as I expected. I honestly wanted to make this video a lot sooner, but I was like, maybe I should hold off a little bit to see if there's, more positions that do open up in time. But everything is looking like it's settling for the most part. I mean, you might see one or two more moves that do open up some head coaching vacancies, but we're just going to roll with the six that are currently out there, and we're going to rank them, obviously, from least desirable to most desirable. And kicking out the list at number six, yours truly, the San Francisco 49ers. So the 49ers are an absolute train wreck. The only positive that I can honestly say for the 49ers, it's not terribly hard to find one, is Carlos Hyde in the running game. He's emerged as a pretty good running back. But if you look at the rest of the team, the defense is an absolute disaster. I think they might be one of the worst behind the Browns in the entire league. I don't know the rankings off the top of my head, but I know they're easily in the bottom, I don't know, bottom five, easily, no problem. They're losing Colin Kaepernick, and he's not that good of a quarterback to begin with. So that leaves you with Blaine Gabbert, and I can only imagine, honestly, I can only assume that they're actually going to draft a quarterback this year in the draft. They need one. They need a lot of help, line help. They need defensive help. I don't think they have enough draft picks. Let's try to watch this rebuilding process. So whatever coach gets this, man, it's going to be tough for them. You had Tom Sula, he was fired after a year. Chip Kelly, fired after a year. Hopefully the 49ers can find somebody that they'll just allow to build in their system. I mean, you can't give a guy a year and expect him to turn a team around. It's a little impatient on their behalf, but I feel for the person that gets that job. Somebody's got to do it, though, and it is a NFL head coaching job, so congratulations to whoever that is. Bring me to number 5 on my list. I am going to go with the LA Rams. And honestly, I don't really think LA is that bad. Their defense is, a bright spot. You got Aaron Donald. You have a pretty good line. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it. Your secondary is a little weak. Your linebackers are weak. But you know what? Your defense as a whole, I would say, is above average. You look on the offensive side of the ball, excuse me. You got to fix your line. Todd Gurley has to have the ability to run. You need to kind of, basing it off the team that I enjoy, you need to build like the Bills. You need to have a strong run game with a complement of throwing. So I think they could really do that. It's real realistic. Jared Goff just needs to continue to grow as a quarterback and come into his own. I don't think we need to give up hope on him yet. He still has a lot of time. He was just a rookie. He wasn't prepared. It scared me a little bit that the Rams weren't rushing him into the situation, stating that he wasn't ready, which says a lot about his development. And you got Carson Wentz going out there who's showing that he's going to be a promising quarterback, and you kind of wonder if they made the wrong decision for number 1 overall. Time will tell. That's the fun thing about sports. You kind of just wait and see what happens. But you got Todd Gurley. You got playmakers like Tavon Austin. Obviously, maybe you go out there and you sign a big body receiver. I know Jeffrey's out there. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. We'll see what they do in the draft as well. They're pretty high up there in the draft. So whatever coach gets that, I hope they give them time to, build a team. That's the one thing I really dislike about coaching changes. You got to give the guys, I would say, at least a minimum of 3 years to lay out their plan and see what they can do, unless they're like a total train wreck. Then I can understand firing them prior to the 3 years being up. But come on, man. You got to give them time to get the players they want, kind of instill their system. Who knows what can happen. But moving on, we're going to talk about number 4. We're talking about my Buffalo Bills, man. Oh, I mean, I love the team to death. 7-9, I believe they were 8-8 the year previous. We're always average team, middle of the draft. We actually got a top 10 draft pick, which is rare. I'm excited for it, honestly. But when you look at the situation at quarterback, I think Tyrod's unfortunately leaving town. I don't personally agree with the decision, but I see Tyrod ultimately leaving town. That leaves you with Cardell Jones as your only quarterback on the roster going into the 2017 season. That's pretty scary. I don't really like the options that are free agent. I could see them potentially drafting a quarterback, but maybe they draft a quarterback later in the draft and they sign a veteran quarterback and they kind of have a quarterback position battle. it's not looking good for the outlook of the quarterback position. You look at other places, though. You look at LaShawn McCoy, dude's a stud. He's going to continue to be a stud. Gillislee, great backup running back. You got Sammy Watkins on the side. We do have a lot of free agent wide receivers that we do need to decide if we want to stick with them and sign them and continue to go, or if we want to look elsewhere. But I'm excited. I'm still excited about that. Our line's still really good. Defensive side of the ball, we need a lot of help. That's just it. Our secondary is weak. Gilmore, probably not going to re-sign him. He's going to want a lot of money. Somebody's going to pay him. He's still an above-average cornerback, but he's not worth it in my honest opinion. Our secondary is rough. I mean, Aaron Williams, 2 years back-to-back that he had season-ending injuries. Maybe it's time to hang him up, man. Honestly, I love the sport. It's great, but honestly, at the end of the day, I want to see these guys be able to live a longer life. And I don't want to read 20 years from now that so-and-so died at the age of 40 or 50. It's not worth it, man. Your body's telling you to go. Just go. Corey Graham, 31, had a rough year. So we need to, overhaul the entire secondary. So it's still a project team, but there's still hope. And but number 3 on the list is actually going to be the San Diego Chargers. I think they are a promising team. You got Melvin Gordon, a great running game. You had some emerging receivers, Tyrell Williams, Inman. You're going to get Keenan Allen back next year. I don't know if he can stay healthy. You got Hunt Henry at tight end. Come on, man. You got a lot going on. Don't even get me started on the defensive side of the ball. You got Joey Bosa, man. I mean, if you're a coach coming into a situation, you can build a defense around that guy, and that's all it is. Their record isn't a reflection of how good that football team is. They blew a lot of games in the fourth quarter. I think it's actually a promising situation. The only thing that really scares me about it is the fact that, are they playing in San Diego? Probably not. They're probably going to LA. You got to move your whole team. Not a really desirable situation if you're a coach coming into that. But I think the team has promise. I don't know what you're going to do at quarterback. My man Phillip Rivers, amazing competitor, but he is getting older. There's rumors that they're going to move him. So, I mean, looking at it, I don't know, you might have a gap at quarterback, but I still would prefer to be the Chargers head coach over the Bills, Rams, or 49ers. And without further ado, that is going to bring us to the last 2. And I'm going to announce the second place team that I guess I want to be a part of, and that's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really feel like this team has so much potential. I don't understand how they did that bad this year. I understand Blake Bortles kind of had a meltdown. He had an atrocious year, but for some reason, I still believe in the guy. I think that he can be above average NFL quarterback. When you have a defense that is that talented, that quick, all you need to be is above average, man. Joe Flacco has a Super Bowl ring. My man Blake Bortles can get a Super Bowl ring too. The defense is insane, absolutely insane. They get another top draft pick this year in the top 10. Come on, man. I mean, where do you think he goes? I think you go out there and you grab a stud running back if there is one good enough to be taken in the top 10. I feel like that's all they're really missing on that team. I mean, I don't, just off the top of my head, I really don't think a top running back's coming out, but that's okay because, you see all these undrafted free agents or, lower to mid-round running backs just emerge on anywhere. I think they select a couple, see what happens. TJ Eldon, Chris Ivory, not really working out to you, but you got Allen Robinson, you got Allen Hurns on the outside, you got a great defense, Blake Bortles. I mean, maybe you improve the line a little bit, maybe use your first round pick on that. Never hurts to build the line. Look at the Cowboys, they're killing it with the best line in the NFL. And without further ado, that brings me to the number 1 head coaching vacancy, and that is obviously the Denver Broncos. Now, this wasn't just an ordinary vacancy. Unfortunately, Gary Kubiak stepped down for his health. Kudos to him. It takes a big man to prioritize your health and put your family before the game. So much respect to him. But that defense is just absolutely nasty. Von Miller, their secondary. It's absolutely, next year they'll probably be back into the playoffs, no doubt about it. The only glaring hole that I see was the quarterback play was rather poor this year. But you still have Paxton Lynch, who was a former first-round pick. Let's see how he matures through another off-season, training camps, OTAs, all that fun stuff. Let's see what he has to bring to the game next year. You could see them signing a veteran quarterback, potentially Tyrod Taylor ending up there. Who knows who's going to ultimately end up in Denver? But I see a lot of promise in that situation. You still have Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas. It's just a great team, you know. I know the running game was lackluster this year, but C.J. Anderson, you know, his season was cut short with an injury. I think he comes back next year and he does his thing. You never know who they could sign. You never knew who they could draft. So, I mean, if I was a head coach, obviously top priority should be Denver. It's just where it's at. But let me know what you guys think of my order. Even let me know what your order is in the comment section below. I always enjoy reading your opinions. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. If you enjoyed the video, definitely hit it with a thumbs up. It encourages me to keep going. If you really liked it, share it. Share it with your friends. Helps me grow. Definitely always appreciate that. But if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, please do so. It's Scody, SCOD, 4 E's, of course. But that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so very much for watching, and have a very nice night or day, depending on when you watch this. Later, guys.